Da 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 da.
This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. What the fuck are you booing? Oh yeah, I'm monetized on YouTube now. So one of the things that I need to do is not cuss as much, especially at the beginning of the stream. I'm not doing a good job of it thus far. Anyway, welcome to the show. I've got a fantastic show planned for you guys tonight, but it's a little bit of a hodgepodge, if you will. It's more or less the show that I've had planned the last two nights that we haven't been able to get to because of old Gord. And then the town halls last night that we streamed live. So it's a freaking Friday, so you know how we start the show. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. I always break out the bong on a Friday. Oh yeah. It feels good. We did the town halls last night. Trump talking smack. Like he won something. Saying Biden made another big mistake. Biden, after we finished with the stream and I was doing the other stories, I still had the ABC News, NBC, no, ABC. Biden was on ABC. I still had ABC up. And they kept cutting back to Biden, and Biden stayed 45 minutes, an hour after, and answered people's questions and was talking to the crowd. I genuinely think Biden enjoys doing that. I think that Biden enjoys talking to the people, whereas Trump, he despises the people, and it's clear, both in his policies and the way he acts. So, no fan of Joe Biden policy-wise, but hey, at least he has human empathy. Human empathy 2020, because do you know who doesn't have empathy? Fucking Rudy Giuliani. So this is how we're going to start off the show tonight. With Rudy Giuliani just saying some batshit crazy stuff.
Rudy, it's good to see you again. Look, we've got a lot to discuss here. Hunter Biden's name back in the headlines. This bombshell report from the New York Post.
It's not a bombshell.
Your name's involved in it. I want to walk that through. There's a lot of questions about that, but first, I just want to get your overall thoughts on what you saw, the media reaction to the information that was released so far, and what stood out to you the most.
Well, what I saw from the mainstream media is the usual cover-up of Biden criminality, which is now at the point of major scandal. I mean, the fact is that there's so much evidence that the Biden family has been taking money illegally for many, many years.
There is none.
I think the Washington press corps knew it and covered it up. And now we have Biden's own text messages to his father, to others, which make it clear that they were stealing money, taking money from countries like Iraq, Ukraine, China, Romania. Oh, don't forget Moscow, the 3.5 million from Moscow that Biden lied about at the debate, which we have proof of. Plus, today, the New York Post completely puts the lie to his claim he didn't know about Burisma, and he didn't know about the shenanigans there and the fact that he was involved in a bribe there, since he said he never met or knew anything about Burisma. And there are text messages that make it clear.
So first of all, with Burisma, Joe Biden is accused of pressuring them to fire a prosecutor, supposedly for not investigating the company his son worked for, Burisma. But now that story was broke in 2015, I think it was, in the New York Times. Now here's the reporter that broke that story about Burisma in the New York Times. He now works for The Intercept. I wrote about the Bidens in Ukraine years ago. The right-wing spin machine turned the story upside down. Because what happened was that Biden pressured them to fire a prosecutor that wouldn't investigate Burisma. And installed a prosecutor, or had them in, pressured them, lobbied for the Ukrainian government to install a prosecutor that would investigate the company that his son worked for. In fact, Hunter Biden has been the black sheep, blah, 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 by... Still, when Joe Biden went to Ukraine, he was not trying to protect his son, quite the reverse. The then vice president issued his demands for greater anti-corruption measures by the Ukrainian government, despite the possibility that those demands would actually increase, not lessen, the chances that Hunter Biden and Burisma would face legal trouble in the UK. So all of this is just absolute nonsense. But beyond that, where did this nonsense come from that Giuliani is spouting off about? Well, the CIA and other spy agencies have said that Rudy Giuliani is dealing with Russian agents, that they are actually feeding misinformation to Giuliani. It also looks like Giuliani is being investigated by the Southern District of New York, which I believe he was the head prosecutor of at one point in time. Crazy! So anyway, continue on, Rudy.
In 2015, he had a meeting with the number 2 person of Burisma in Washington, D.C.
Well, let me jump in really quick if you don't mind.
Those texts were supplied by the Post.
Mr. Mayor, let me jump in really quick if you don't mind here. The New York Post, I just want to walk this through as easy as I can for the viewer.
And that is the reason for everything I just explained to you about how the right wing has twisted the story and got it wrong. That's the reason why Twitter and Facebook has taken action on the story. I don't know that they've tried to censor it. I believe they put the cover over it with the fact checked. I'm not real sure. I've seen a gazillion people share the story, so I'm not exactly sure what measures Facebook and Twitter took about the story. I am aware that Jack Dorsey apparently apologized for something. I don't know what he's apologizing for. If you stop the spread of misinformation, you have nothing to be sorry for at all.
Viewers to understand, because we have two elements here. We have emails that we've seen in the New York Post story, and we have
that say nothing.
Hunter Biden.
Go read the emails.
A couple of questions about the pictures in just a minute, but the emails here that we see are alleged from this Ukrainian official on the Energy Board sent to Hunter, thanking him for introducing him to his then vice president, his dad at that time. If these are real and they're true, did Hunter Biden commit anything against the law? Did Joe Biden...
This is one of the pictures they're talking about. Allegedly him with a crack pipe in his mouth.
Sure, here's a couple of them. Number one, if he set up that meeting and he didn't register, he violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act, for which they put Paul Manafort in prison. If they're going to put Paul Manafort in prison, it sounds to me like they should put Hunter Biden in prison.
For Second, what? He didn't do anything. You don't know what you're talking about.
Involved in the entire Burisma scheme. In the bribery that he admitted to way back in 2018, he's been lying about this for 6 years.
There was no scheme. There was no bribery.
We have a text message, several of them, setting up the meeting, proving the meeting. Oh, and by the way, this isn't alleged. This is Joe Biden's son's hard drive. It's his. It belongs to him.
This is alleged.
Sent and got those messages. There's no doubt about that.
Because apparently Rudy got this from some store that said somebody turned it over and never picked it up.
To some of that criticism.
I don't have to respond to it.
Well,
I didn't do anything wrong. This has been their game throughout.
They're wondering how you got.
I did something wrong.
They're wondering how you got the laptop. How did you get the hard drive?
I got the hard drive legally, completely legally. Why are they worried about how I got it? Why don't they just say it's untrue? Because it isn't untrue. Because Joe Biden participated in massive bribes.
There's no evidence of that.
Prove that his son illegally got $10 to $14 million from Ukraine. That the purpose of it was to bribe the president of the Ukraine, which Biden admitted to. It's also going to show that Hunter was sharing half of the proceeds with his father. I have another text message that hasn't been released yet, right here from January 6, 2019. It reads as follows. This is Hunter Biden.
Okay, this should be good.
I love you, but I don't receive any respect, and that's fine, I guess. Works for you, apparently. I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard, but don't worry. Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary. That's the email. It's on the hard drive. It's clearly his hard drive.
Sounds like some fucked up family bullshit. First of all, these aren't text messages, are they? They are Facebook messages. January 3rd, 2019. On a laptop that was supposedly turned in sometime in 2019. This is all seeming really fishy. As if Rudy Giuliani being involved in this isn't all really fishy to begin with. Now remember, intelligence agencies told the president that this man is compromised by Russian agents. Keep that in mind as we continue watching this.
Got 1,000 pictures of him. I haven't put those pictures out. Those pictures are disgusting. Some of those pictures constitute crimes, by the way.
And I want to just point out for the viewers that what you just showed there has not been seen yet. So thank you for sharing some of that with us.
I'll tell you how you can see it. You can go to...
I don't know about disgusting. I've had some of those nights myself.
Rudy'sCommonSense.com. It's there. The exact document is there. The date of the email is there.
Some people think it makes Hunter and Joe far more relatable.
Legally. And I have all the documents to prove it.
I want to ask you this because there's a lot that has been released. There are photos right now. There are a few photos of. That's what I want to ask you about because Hunter Biden is seen on these photos. There is what looks like a crack pipe in his mouth as he's sleeping. There is rumors out there that there are
only one
sex video with a crack pipe in Hunter's mouth. Is that true? Is that out there? Have you seen that?
I have no interest in any of his sex pictures, except one that maybe suggests criminality.
I'm not exactly sure how many people it affects, but a lot of people have a hard time having sex on the cocaine or on the crack. Gives them the whiskey dick or the coke dick. You do enough coke and you're not going to be able to get it up. I'm just saying. So this idea that he's like smoking a bunch of crack and having sex, it's possible. It's absolutely possible. Could be a lot. Some people in the party community like to do such things and use Viagra on top of it, for example. Racball. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that this man was smoking some crack and having some sex. 50-50 though. As I said, that's a concern. Your dick not being able to get up is a concern if you're doing hard drugs and having sex.
That should be examined.
Party and play, as they like to call it.
If the FBI ever gets around to examining it, they've only had it for 8 months. I mean, there's something very wrong with our FBI when they don't jump on this. Those videos and those photos only trouble me for one reason. They constitute a national security threat for the United States.
The FBI says he's the national security threat.
It's in the hands of China. And you can bribe and extort and squeeze the vice president with this because he denies it. He says he's a good boy. He doesn't do anything. He's away from drugs. This guy's consistently been on drugs for the last 8 years.
I'm not sure that Biden has denied it. He's confronted it head on, hasn't he?
And another question, who would pay $30 million to a guy who's consistently on drugs unless he's doing it to bribe his father, who's the vice president?
Anybody that's a musician?
With China. And China.
You pay a lot of people on drugs, like anybody in the entertainment field. Models.
But with his brother and sister-in-law.
Probably a hell of a lot of politicians, too, Rudy.
Half of it. This is his son's text.
You telling me Rudy Giuliani in New York City in the 80s didn't partake in some cocaine? Who believes that? Is there anybody that believes that? Are you telling me? Oh, shit. Are you telling me that man, this Rudy Giuliani right here, has never done some drugs and done some fucked up shit? Now, from what I've read, Trump does not do cocaine, but is constantly around it and uses it to entice women. That is constantly talking about it. How there's cocaine over there. Go do some cocaine. I believe that 100%. And you can't tell me that Rudy Giuliani right there wasn't on something.
To his son's daughter. I didn't write this. They should stop blaming it on me. I didn't collect the $30 million from China. They did. I didn't sell out to China. They did.
Does anybody else smell something fishy about how he keeps saying, I got it legally, I didn't write this?
Having his son, who is a very, very seriously afflicted crack cocaine addict, working all around the world. Why doesn't he take care of him? I blame this on Joe Biden. What kind of father has his drug-addicted son, who just gets thrown out of the Navy, go work for the most crooked man in Ukraine and one of the most dishonorable men in China?
I doubt Joe had anything to do with it. I doubt Joe was like, hey, go work for this guy.
He cheated in law school. He cheated in the Senate. And he's been using his family to make millions for years. And he's been doing it by selling us out. And it's disgraceful.
There's some truth to that, but not in the way that Rudy's talking about.
That's the truth.
Well, that's what we're trying to find out. We want to find
out. That's the truth.
I'm glad that
Believe me, do not look into it.
Here's the truth.
There it is. Do you have any more documents you can share with me? Any more images,
Oh, yes,
videos?
I do. No, I don't. No, I will not.
But this is a tactic with right-wingers. Even though there's nothing to the story, fucking Rudy Giuliani holding up a piece of paper with those messages, it looks incriminating. It gives the optics that there is something to the messages. And Republicans are so good at this. That's one of the reasons they try to get these false investigations going, so they can say, look at this person, they're under investigation. But it was like the other campaign calling in a response to the FEC, so they have to go investigate it. Republicans are underhanded as fuck.
I'll not share them yet.
But will you?
I'm going to let them blow off their steam and consistently say things, because every time they say things, I can prove they're lying. For example, originally when I came out with this, he said I didn't know anything about bereavement. Today, the New York Post blew that wide open. I suspect in the next couple of days, they'll say a few more things that I can
prove. The New York Post has been on a roll with some absolute bullshit.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done, because there is a conspiracy to protect him. Washington Post, the New York Times, NBC.
This motherfucker led New York City after 9/11.
The proof is
but his bullshit investigation where he's being played by Russia is the hardest thing he's ever done. Let that sink in.
Enough evidence that would have put, I mean, of the 100 people I convicted, I probably had no more evidence on any of them than there is on him. And I'm sorry that he's the vice president or the Democrat darling. He's a big crook. No, I don't like crooks, and they're very bad for my country.
Well, let me jump in really quick, Rudy, because I know you've seen this. Let's talk social media.
If he doesn't like crooks, I wish he would go jump out a window.
Story came out. I want to say hours later, there was already a censorship, not only on Facebook, but a major one on Twitter. In fact, right when you click on it, it says, warning, this link may be unsafe. What do you make of this?
I make of it, they're corrupt. The media is corrupt. They are covering up a major crime. Joe Biden was involved in
Hold on. Okay, look at that pinky ring. Any man wearing a pinky ring can't be trusted. Especially a pinky ring. Giant, gold, gaudy, looks like it has diamonds in the middle of it. You can't tell me that's not a sleazy motherfucker. And what the hell, what has he been pressing his thumb on? Right before he came on the air, he was pressing his thumb against something.
They are covering up a major crime. Joe Biden...
Or is that just an old man wrinkle?
In getting money from Iraq, from Ukraine, and a lot of it from China. He was going through his family, and he was getting half of it. His son's texts and emails prove it. Now go cover that up. That's what they're doing. They want him in the White House. They want him in the White House so they can continue to do business with China, so they can continue to cheat and steal, just like he does. This is disgraceful what's going on. Cutting off these text messages and emails. Wow. Where are we? In the Soviet Union? According to Twitter and that other silly place, we are.
The guy being played by Russian propaganda. What, are we in the Soviet Union? The people that are paying me to do this? What?
And they think they're going to stop it by doing that? I mean, I'll go around the country and hold up the hard drive and show it to all of you. And I tell you, you look at this hard drive and you vote for this guy, there's something wrong with you.
When can I see more of it?
Well, you will. As they keep falling into the trap, you'll see more and more of it.
Yeah, he wants to leak it little by little.
All at once.
Keep it going in the news cycle for the next 2 weeks. That's the only game plan they've got.
The highest levels of the Obama administration and the corruption in the media that hid that from you for years.
They shut down the Durham investigation.
The story is continuing to develop
because there was nothing in the Obama unmasking investigation.
We will continue to look at
there was nobody to charge. There was nothing illegal. There was nothing improper going on.
Exactly right.
This motherfucker has been compromised by Russian agents. And no one should take him seriously at all. But don't take my word for it. Take somebody who knows Rudy Giuliani incredibly well. Because his daughter says, please everyone, vote for Joe Biden. Oh shit. I think we've got a video of her down here. No? No? I thought she shared that out like a TikTok or something. Oh, it was an op-ed published in Vanity Fair. We are multiverses apart, politically and otherwise. I've come to realize that none of us can afford to be silent right now. The stakes are too high. I accept that most people will start reading this piece because you saw the headline with my father's name. But now that you're here, I'd like to tell you how urgent I think this moment is. So yeah, yet another reason to vote for Joe Biden as much as I don't want to. But as we mentioned last night, I hope Biden is being incredibly careful because now 3 people in his orbit have tested positive for coronavirus. The latest one was a driver or a pilot, maybe? So they've suspended Harris's travel at the moment. But hey, your pilot's license. But we've got this video of what McConnell thinks about the whole coronavirus situation.
Bill in May, and the Senate went on vacation. I mean, you just don't do that. You negotiate.
That's an evil cackle.
You knew that the coronavirus wasn't going to end at the end of July. We knew this. I mean, I just think you've got to. And here's the thing: if you want to call yourself a leader,
so Bill,
if you want to call yourself a leader, you got to get things done. And those of us that served in the Marines, we don't just.
It is a villain laugh.
Get the job done.
And like he was trying to so Bill. Like that's the Republican playbook to try to interrupt people. By the way, the phone lines are open. 917-830-4359. Call in and tell me I'm stupid if you want to. Call in and talk about anything. But when you have the Senate Majority Leader not taking the coronavirus epidemic seriously, you get people. We're getting to Kane. We're getting to Kane, man. Don't worry. But when you have people like the Senate Majority Leader not taking this seriously, that's how you end up with dumb fucks like this. After we get past this ad, we got a video. This happened in Utah. I thought it was a gas station. It says a Black Lives Matter supporter. I don't know.
Black lives don't matter. All lives matter.
Like, I know this guy. I've known 300 of this guy. This exact guy right here.
All you Democrats, black lives don't matter. All lives matter.
He sounds a lot like old Gore, don't you think? I will say old Gore didn't as much vitriol and venom as I threw his way. He didn't cuss at me at all, even though I wouldn't have cared. Snort. Holy shit, dude. What a little... I don't want to mock him or anything, because, like, he's the victim in this situation getting coughed on, but what's with that punch? Dude, you would have been 100% within your right to just fucking cock back and waylay that motherfucker. Nobody would have blamed you at all.
Oh, I'm so scared of your virus.
Ah, fuck you. And fuck that dude that was yelling at those people. We'll watch it one more time. Oh. This isn't it. The New York Post sucks. But we got more people pissed off about the COVID. This time it's on the flip side. So when you think about McConnell laughing at the debate, think about all the business owners he's hurting by not passing the HEROES Act.
Hey everybody, welcome to COVID-19 Ramblings of a Pissed Off Armenian Volume 8. I'm home. I got my son JT right here next to me. Couldn't be better, people. Thank you for all the prayers, all the love, all the pushing.
You're welcome, bro. I didn't know who you were until now.
Here, want to talk
Wish
about
you the best,
today,
though.
What our
poor
Senator
dude
Ron Johnson said yesterday about COVID-19. He said COVID-19 is not a death sentence. We'll try to explain that to the 215,000 families who've lost their lives.
And Ron Johnson tested positive, didn't he?
This virus is real. It doesn't treat everybody the same. My son here got his test results back. He's positive, but he's asymptomatic. My business partner, Todd at Oblios, he's positive. He's asymptomatic.
Yeah, Ron Johnson tested positive.
Affects everybody differently. It kicked my butt. It put me in the hospital. It's not the same for everybody. You got to realize that. You got to be serious about this. The doctors know this. This virus mutates. It adapts. It wants you to be weak. It wants you to be lay on your back. I've been doing my breathing exercises. I've been laying on my stomach. I've been moving. Took the dog for a walk. You gotta fight this with everything you got. I'm on the mend. I'm weak, but I'm getting there every day. My appetite's getting a little bit better. I got this big guy pushing me.
Now, this dude is a bar owner, and he hosted an event.
All your prayers, all your
I believe it was
well-wishes.
Don Jr. It might have been Eric.
That's what helped
It was one of the
push me
sons.
through this.
Back in
Thinking about all you,
April,
society.
May. We'll look that up.
This virus is real. It mutates. I talked to the doctor yesterday before I left about the Resavir and the blood plasma antibodies. And I asked him which one, if he was sick, would he take? And he couldn't give me an answer. Those aren't cures, people. Those experimental drugs are not cures. What their aim is to get you out of the hospital.
He was he hosted an event with Donald Trump Jr. in March. So that might have been before the lockdowns.
Faster, to heal you faster. It's not a cure. So you gotta treat this still seriously. You gotta wear your masks. You gotta social distance.
That's him right there.
You can't say that this virus, you gotta be afraid of it. Be very afraid. Just do the things that are right, people.
It's not so much be afraid, it's be respectful of what it can do and understand the consequences and take precautions. You don't have to be afraid. Just give it the proper measure of caution.
I'm home. I'm getting better. I just feel so blessed. My rant today, it's just, I just can't believe that our senator would say the thing that he said about this virus. And people going forward, please wear your mask, social distance, do the right thing. We're going to get through this. God bless each and every one of you.
Now, the tweet there said he wanted to punch the president. That's why I wanted to listen to what he had to say, but unfortunately, I didn't hear him say he wanted to punch the president. Unfortunately, that's what I was looking forward to. So, former WWE superstar, or I think he still fucking wrestles sometimes. Even after he's been elected, he still wrestles. So, sometimes, part-time WWE legend? I guess that would be the right way to describe him. Kane has gotten himself into some shit again.
County employees are placed on administrative leave.
Right, so earlier today, Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs said he was made aware of potential wrongdoing.
Yeah, the employees have been identified as Chief of Staff Brian Hare and Senior Director of Parks and Recreation Paul White.
Now, Mayor Jacobs brought in external auditing firm Pew CPA to do further evaluations on these claims.
Yeah, we're told Knox County Director of Human Development Dwight Vandevate and Deputy Chief of Staff Chris Caldwell will be handling the administration.
So it doesn't seem like Kane actually did anything wrong here. I will say that Kane is wearing a very snazzy tie. Looking good, my friend. I like corporate Kane myself. That's one of my favorite versions of Kane. I don't like Republican Kane at all.
Duties in his office.
Right now, in response, Commissioner Larson J. released a statement to us tonight. It reads in part, quote, I commend Mayor Jacobs for quickly initiating an independent investigation into this matter. While specific details are still being uncovered, I trust this investigation will be handled in a timely and transparent manner. The mayor's office says the investigation could take several weeks or so.
Well,
1 in 3 adults.
I talked it up as if Kane was involved in some shit. It doesn't seem that he was. The story also didn't really go into detail about what it was pertaining to. I was assuming that two people involved in the Glenn Jacobs administration in Knox County, Tennessee, had been linked to some of the bullshit Kane's been involved with, going after workers over the mask policy at the Department of Health. Kane's been going hardcore. Kane has been going hardcore, throwing his dick around about the Republican bullshit in a little fucking county in East Tennessee. I won't say little county. It is probably the largest county in East Tennessee. The county seat of Knoxville.
In Tuscaloosa, you're in the building, and this news comes down. As you best you can, document the day for me.
So, Roll Tide.
To talk about this huge matchup with Georgia and
Nick Saban,
College Game Day, interview a number of the players, and
the coach for the University of Alabama, has tested positive for coronavirus. Now, follow up to this, I put this on the story list yesterday. He is now tested negative today.
Additional minutes chatting, again socially distanced, both of us masked, and then during that time, head athletic trainer Jeff Allen came and asked Nick to leave. He said there was something he had to share with him. I then, a short time later, after Nick popped back in at a distance to say he had to go, went back to interview a number of the players, and lo and behold, we find out what Jeff Allen was there to share with Nick Saban.
What did we find out?
Tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
And this leads to, and Nick broached the topic. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do. I mean, look, we all, I think, and since March, we've been making this clear. What matters is the health and safety of everyone.
Doesn't seem like it. You guys keep trying to play fucking sports, and it's like it's not working.
Trying to figure out how the hell can I be involved? I mean, this has just happened. But Tom, what kind of possibilities are in play to allow Nick to have his fingerprints on this game plan?
So just start with today's practice, for example.
Apparently, he's not allowed to coach, like via Zoom.
Leaves the facility and drives home about a 15 to 20 minute.
But they're still on hold about whether they will actually let him on the field or not.
Players know during their 2 o'clock meeting, and during practice, a video feed is established, I believe, with one of the high-angle cameras so that he can watch everything that's happening in practice. So the seeing eye continues to see all. In terms of the duties and how they're going to be divided, Steve Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator, is going to continue to handle preparation within the building. Saban,
you just can't have, especially like basketball is one thing because the NBA did it, but they were in a bubble. But then you've got a football team. Like, how many people is on a? I don't know. Like like an NFL team has like 70, 60 people or something like that on it.
Saturday via SEC return to play protocol.
I would assume college is comparable to that.
The program's hope would be that he could be with his team come Saturday night.
There's just so many people involved there.
Feel a little bit more normal, but what we want and what we get
traveling
is the same. So you stay
in
safe,
different groups infecting each other and interacting. It's just this is impossible. I can't believe I didn't get a Roll Tide from Breed Creed. All right, so this is the story I've been waiting on. Republican Senator Ben Sasse was on a conference call, it would seem. Very, very spammy site we're on here. Ben Sasse was on a conference call. And he was asked by, it would seem, just a constituent. It's possible that he didn't know he was being recorded. Because he unloads here, and he really tells it like it is.
Thanks, Senator. I think, like a lot of Nebraskans, I'm trying to understand your relationship with the president. Why do you have to criticize him so much?
Sure. So,
as if Ben Sass criticizes the president all that much.
I kind of think about it like this. I think we should distinguish between policy agreement and policy disagreement, and then also long-term political implications as well. So I've worked hard to develop a good working relationship with the president over the last 3.5 years. I obviously campaigned for a lot of other people in the 2016 cycle, but Donald Trump is our president now, so I've worked hard to develop a good relationship with him. He's got a hard job, and we're called to pray for our leaders, so that's what we do regularly at the breakfast table at our house, is we pray for the president and the First Lady and for Vice President Pence in their callings. And there are obviously a number of issue areas where President Trump and I have policy alignment now, or maybe a better way to put it is where the president has now adopted traditionally Republican positions that he used to reject for the majority of his life when he was funding Democratic candidates. So, for example, one of the places where he's changed, as we were just mentioning to the last questioner, is I think he's nominated truly great judges, and I've worked with him.
Just hold on here, hold on. We're gonna get to the juicy
after
shit.
he was elected. Explicitly to advocate for the kind of originalists and constitutionalists that he had put on his list and that he had agreed to nominate. I'm the first Nebraskan on the Judiciary Committee in, I think, 46 years. I'm 48 years old, and I'm the first Nebraskan on the committee since the mid-'70s. So there are definitely places where we agree, but as your question says, there are obviously a lot of places where he and I differ as well. And these aren't just mere policy issues. I'm not at all apologetic for having fought for my values against his in places where I think his are deficient, not just for a Republican, but for an American. So the way he kisses dictators' butts, I mean, the way he ignores that the Uyghurs are in literal concentration camps in Xinjiang right now. He hasn't lifted a...
We have literal concentration camps in America.
I mean,
so
I have a very different foreign policy.
He's not even ignoring them. He's, actively
the United States now regularly sells
encouraging them
under his leadership. The way he treats women and spends like a drunken sailor, the ways I criticize President Obama for that kind of spending, I criticize President Trump for as well. He mocks evangelicals behind closed doors. His family is...
I'm sure he does.
...presidency like a business opportunity. He's flirted with white supremacists. I mean, the places where we differed on COVID, at the beginning of the COVID crisis, he refused to treat it seriously for months. He treated it like a news cycle by news cycle PR crisis rather than a multi-year public health challenge, which is what it is. And now, I mean, in his partial defense here, I think that lots of the news media has pretended that COVID is literally the first public health crisis ever, and somehow it's Donald Trump's fault. That's not true. They just wanted to use it against him.
Well, I think that's a straw man.
That he careened from curb to curb. First, he ignored COVID, and then he went into full economic shutdown mode. I mean, he was the one who said
we never had a full shutdown
would fix this, and that was always wrong. I mean, and so I don't think the way he's led through COVID has been reasonable or responsible or right. And so these are some of the important policy or sort of leadership places where we differ. Stuff we don't see eye to eye on, and I think that it's my duty to level with Nebraskans, even though I recognize that a lot of our voters in Nebraska are Trumpier than I am, and they sometimes get frustrated with me.
Trumpier.
I also think voters have told me the most common thing I hear from Nebraskans is they have a very mixed perspective on the president. They think he does some stuff well, and they think he does some stuff poorly. And the truth of the matter is, I think he's done some stuff well and some poorly, and so I've been honest about that.
Well, the things that he thinks he's done well, such as the tax cut and the judges, I'm sure, I totally don't agree with.
We should distinguish between policy and politics, because my dissents from President Trump are not only about policy, but it's also a prudential question or a political question about whether or not he's ultimately driving the country further to the left, because that's what I think is ultimately going to happen.
Oh, because the reaction to Trump is the left is ascendant anyway.
For everybody not named Trump in 2016,
we've had 40 years of
have regularly misunderstood
the Ronald Reagan neoliberal attitude, and
win the presidency.
The paradigm is shifting
because America actually wants more reality TV, round-the-clock, stupid political obsessions. I just don't think that that's what my neighbors want. It's not what I hear when I travel the state. I've spent lots of the...
I think Ben is correct, and that's why Joe Biden is going to win.
Listen to Nebraskans. They don't really want more rage tweeting as a new form of entertainment. I think the overwhelming reason that President Trump won in 2016 was simply because Hillary Clinton was literally the most unpopular candidate in the history of polling. We've had polls going back about 85 years, and Hillary Clinton is by far the worst presidential candidate America has ever had. General election presidential candidate. And
Trump was the second.
President Trump won, not because he laid out a constructive vision of the country that Americans united around. And so I think it's always been imprudent for my party, again, as I mentioned, calling it the party of Lincoln and Reagan. Those are the heights of American history. It has always been imprudent for our party to try to
Reagan?
To a Trumpian brand, and that's what I've been worried about for 5 years. And so
Reagan was the height of American history. Reagan's not even the height of my fucking history. Bill Clinton was. That's when we were the most prosperous.
Trump loses, as looks likely, that he's going to take the Senate down with him. And if conservatives lose the Senate, here's what progressives are going to try to do. They're going to fracture the deliberative structure of the Senate. That's what blowing up the filibuster means. And that's the whole ballgame. They're going to add states. They're going to pack the Supreme Court. And
Let's
that puts
hope.
religious liberty and the broader First Amendment at risk. And that's the heart of who we are as Americans.
How does religious liberty and the broader First Amendment
Give us our rights,
become at risk by expanding democracy to more people?
Project to secure those things. And Donald Trump doesn't steward that. He doesn't do storytelling to the next generation. And now,
No, Ben Sass's power
if they get to a supermajority that they can end.
is what is at risk.
I'm worried that
If they expand the court, if they expand voting, state rights, states' rights to our territories.
Of America. And so from where I sit as one of the most conservative guys in the U.S. Senate, I'm now looking at the possibility of a Republican bloodbath in the Senate. And that's why I've never been on the Trump train. It's why I didn't agree to serve on his reelection committee, and it's why I'm not campaigning for him, because I spend all my time thinking about the one political question that's most central next month, which is holding the U.S. Senate. If we don't, I'll
Ironically,
question to your title, but
Lindsey Graham didn't used to be on the Trump train.
Retain the Senate. There's a very good chance that 10 years from now we're going to have a Venezuela-like, dozens of members of the Supreme Court. You can imagine 30, 40 people on the Supreme Court at some point. And when all of our allies in the Pacific have sided with China because Trump's isolationism was so weak, that our allies began to doubt for the first time since World War II whether they could trust in U.S. strength and U.S. will and U.S. courage and U.S. virtue and values. If young people become permanent Democrats because they've just been repulsed by the obsessive nature of our politics, or if women who were willing to still...
I will say that it is incredibly refreshing to hear a conservative that's intelligent. This is just not an absolute fucking idiot. Because there are so many of those. But I can't, even this site, we're on the Washington Examiner, I think. Yeah. Super right-wing, spammy as fuck. So this video labeled, it may not be the Washington Examiner. Nebraska Insider labeled him Rhino Ben Sass. Rhino, Republican in name only. As if he's some sort of Democrat. Everything that he's talking about is actual conservatism.
With the Republican Party on 2016, decide that they need to turn away from this party permanently in the future, the debate is not going to be, Ben Sass, why were you so mean to Donald Trump? It's going to be, what the heck were any of us thinking that selling a TV-obsessed, narcissistic individual to the American people was a good idea? It is not a good idea. I think we are staring down the barrel of a blue tsunami. And
it's not like they didn't know.
So that's what I'm focused on. I'm not focused on Donald Trump. I think the media has done a terrible job of making us all believe that the presidency is always the most important thing for people to talk about. First of all, politics shouldn't be the center of our conversation or our life or our culture or our economics. But even inside politics, the presidency shouldn't be the center of that. And I think that Donald Trump and the media are united in wanting to make him the center of every conversation.
He wants everybody to go back to sleep and not pay attention to the policy he passes.
Right now is whether or not Republicans can retain it, and so that's what I'm spending my time and energy on. Thanks for your question. Tyler, who's next?
I am really, really interested in when he said that. It was posted 2 days ago. Sass just telling the truth. Yes, he is just telling the truth. Sass was being a rhino when he was kissing Trump's butt. Some people have some goddamn sense, and that's very rare in comment sections, especially on YouTube. So Ben Sass was refreshing for a conservative, and the comment section was refreshing. Let's see what Trump's got to say in his Make America Great Again rally over here.
We took out the world's #1 terrorist and the mass murder of American troops and troops all over the world and many, many people. Soleimani is dead.
He wasn't any of the things that Trump just described.
Iran nuclear deal. They spent
5 seconds into this, I'm like, no, that's not true. Fuck.
$50 billion to Iran that they will be from the head of Iran saying, let's make a deal. Their economy is in tatters right now. They went down 27% GDP. I've never even heard of such a thing. But you know,
because you
we want them to
fucked them over.
I recognize the true capital of Israel and opened the American embassy, right? And opened the American embassy in Jerusalem, and it's all built. It's all built. It's all built.
Part of me wonders if he was so adamant about having these rallies because this is like his last hurrah before he rides off into the sunset. He's never going to feel this type of adulation again.
Sounds like a lot. And I called our great ambassador. I said, David, do we have any land in Jerusalem? He said, yeah, we have a great site. I said, take a look at it. Call me. He calls me. He said, there's a building on the site. We can renovate it. Now, we're going to spend anywhere from $1 billion to $2
So, like, he's even up here talking about his business deals to a fucking crowd in Georgia.
So we can renovate the building fully for $350,000 that we have already. Thank you.
Or is he talking about the embassy?
It's the first time in my life, in my business career, I ever did this. I said, David, it's too cheap. It doesn't sound good. Normally, I'd say, let's make it $250,000. I said, David, make it like $500,000 and use Jerusalem stone. I have a friend, Ron Barron, smart guy. He's so proud. He's got Jerusalem stone in his lobby of his office building. And I said, can you get Jerusalem stone? He said, yeah, we're in Jerusalem. I said, that's good.
The campaign handed out all those masks, didn't they?
So we built this building for under $500,000.
They look mass-produced.
For a long time. And every president for many, many decades has said they were going to do it. And
A whole bunch of unmasked up here.
And I got it done and got the building built.
Probably had to make all these people put masks on. And handed them out to them.
Israeli
No mask there.
Golan Heights. 52 years they were working on that. They were working.
I encourage him to continue holding mass rallies. I hope you pack the place. I hope all of them don't wear masks. Because, hey, from this point forward, and this past week, all these people that you were exposing potentially to this deadly virus, you were putting them in the position that if they do get sick, the people that went to your rally, they will be sick at the time they're supposed to go vote for your dumb ass.
By a presidential nominee. The Biden plan.
You're just digging your hole deeper and deeper.
Pre-existing conditions. People with
I raised my tally to I think Joe Biden's going to win by 10 million.
will destroy our country.
Trump may actually
When I first heard it, I
impede the ability for his supporters to be able to go and actually cast the vote for him.
but they didn't really give up. They will never give up. Biden's running mates sponsored a bill to outlaw private health insurance. 180 million people that love their private plans, right? They love their private plans. Those plans are going to be gone. Biden vowed to terminate our travel bans on jihadist regions and surge refugee admissions 700%, opening the floodgates to radical Islamic terrorism. Your state and your country will be overrun and overwhelmed. We'll have no money, and we will indeed be another Venezuela, very large-scale version. A vote for Republicans.
It's just everything he can throw at the wall.
And a limitless future for all.
This is a madman. I wonder, does he know he's getting ready to lose? If you surround yourself with yes men the way he does, he can't be getting real information. But I mean, it's blatantly obvious to anyone with a brain what he's in for. And everybody wants to say, yeah, the polls were wrong in 2016. No, like, Texas is in play. If Texas is in play, it's over. There's no way. Georgia. That's why he is campaigning in Georgia 2 weeks before the election. Well, he just said build a wall and lock her up in 2016. Now he's trying to find that magic phrase, and he hasn't found it, and he's floundering. But keep on. Keep having those rallies. I'm all for it. I've been looking forward to watching this video. Oh, it's a short one. Oh, maybe this is just the ad. I hope this goes on for a little bit. A shirtless New York State Supreme Court justice was caught on police body camera video. That's all you need to know. That's the perfect intro. Oh, it is short. Let's find out what this motherfucker's been doing.
My son, no, we are not doing this right now. We are not doing this right now.
Wow.
We are not doing this right now. We are not doing
No. Oh shit, he just pushed a cop.
Keep your hands off. You better go off my f***ing wife.
They're saying that you pushed an officer. You wouldn't do that, would you?
You know what? When he.
Yeah, he absolutely would. Oh my god, this dude is. Did it say Supreme Court Justice? Supreme Court Justice. State Supreme Court Justice. Clearly, that's the reason why he had the balls to fucking push a cop.
He dragged Maria. When the two girls were on Maria, he was dragging Maria across the street and actually was taking her down on my front lawn.
I didn't see anybody drag anybody. Now, he did take her down. I find what he did to her questionable, and I oftentimes find what people do to cops, or what cops do to people, questionable. But like, think about all the times this guy has probably ruled in favor of the cops during his time as a judge.
And I basically said, listen, just like talk to her, and I pushed him, and I said, don't friggin' tackle her, and I pushed him. I apologized to him, Mark, right after that because I said, listen.
And dude, honestly, I'm amazed that he is still in handcuffs because he is a Supreme Court justice. Like I almost want to say he has the power to command them to take the handcuffs off. Like, his word is law. If he were black, yes.
I respect you guys in law enforcement. You know, I go, my daughter's a police officer, my son-in-law's a police officer, all my family's police officers.
I mean, the thing that freaks me out is that everything you do is going to be scrutinized because of your job.
Well, Mark, I never mentioned anything about my job or who I was. You could ask any officer. I never mentioned anything like that. All I said was my...
It is cool. Like, he didn't try to sling his dick around. He just went and pushed the cop. I kind of... Oftentimes, I want to be like an authority, but hey, dude, you got some big old fucking balls on you.
All I said was...
Arrested, that's going to be in all of, that's going to be on...
Yeah, I understand that.
Oh, yes. Let's watch that again. I want to see him push him one more time. God damn it.
Sorry, I make you that promise. Ride with me. I was a woman fighting to protect our people.
It had the horse armor like they had in the one Elder Scrolls.
For our children, yes?
Instead of a soldier.
But then I'd be someone else.
Didn't they charge like a fucking insane amount for that horse armor?
I sure fucking am. My son, no. We are not doing this right now. We are not doing this right now. No, it's not. Hey! Gonna arrest me? We are not doing this right now. Hey! We are not doing
No.
Honestly, he didn't push him that hard. He just kind of like shoved him. That wasn't even a push. Now that I watch it again, I don't have as much respect for him. Fuck, that's weird. He's not as tough as this kid that we're getting ready to watch, that's for sure. Because this little dude was trying to defend his home. I can't believe this shit. Wait, are these motherfuckers armed? They are, aren't they? Shit. Oh, the little dude pushed the guy. Hell yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, take him down, dude. Wow, like South Bend isn't like a big city just in broad daylight. People bust into a house. That's fucking crazy. Oh, he was already like throwing hands at him. Oh my god. Ah, shit, yeah. Oh man, this kid's feisty. Mad props, little dude. Hope that kid makes it to the UFC. All right, we got a big week next week. Supposedly, we're going to have the second presidential debate. We'll see if it happens. But go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. Have a great freaking